Live from Busch Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri, the Houston Astros television network brings you the rubber game of this three-game series between the Astros and the St. Louis Cardinals. Good afternoon, everybody. Bill Brown and Jim DeShays to see who wins this series, and it's been great baseball between the clubs so far in the two series they've played this year, JD.
Yeah, close games all, especially here in St. Louis. Astros winning in the ninth inning Friday night. The Cardinals coming back to win yesterday. In the bottom half of the ninth inning, a pitching matchup today featuring Kyle Loesch of the St. Louis Cardinals, a guy that they signed in the middle of spring training, and he's really paid off for them, going 2-0 with a 2.54 ERA. Brandon Backey's 1-2 with a 4.15. Really pitched well last time out, got no decision, but 7 solid innings from Brandon last time he took the hill.
And as he takes the mound today in St. Louis, the Cardinals, who have played well so far this season, are trying to do what they were unable to do in the playoff games. He pitched so well against the Cardinals. Brandon Backey did not crack in those encounters. We'll see how he does today in just a moment. And it's a nice chilly day here. Pitchers should like it today. The hitters might want to warm things up with their bats if they can. Here are the starting lineups now. First of all, the Astros here in the top of the first, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. And it's Kazuo Matsui leading it off at second base. Michael Bourne is in the number 2 spot today in center field. Miguel Tejada plays shortstop with Lance Berkman at first base. It's Carlos Lee in left field, Hunter Pence in right, Mark Loretta at third base, J.R. Tolles the catcher. Brandon Backey will be the Houston pitcher. And right-hander Kyle Loesch is ready to go to work. Loesch, 29 years old, from Chico, California. Delivers strike one to Kazuo Matsui. 314, 1 homer, and 7 runs batted in. And that's up and in.
Maybe not. Thought I got him. Yeah, Cecil Cooper changing things up today with Matsui in the leadoff spot. Michael Bourne hitting number 2.
Well, Matsui's done a nice job of leading off. That fastball beats him, and it's 1-2. He has a 368 on base average compared to Bourne's 295 on base average. So it seems to be a sensible move, at least short term, until Michael can get the feel of things again after sitting out 4 days. That's ripped foul. Still a 1-ball, 2-strike count to Matsui.
Got a report on Kyle Loesch. Late to the party. The Cardinals signed him in the middle of spring training, but he's really paid off, pitching quite well. He's got all 4 of the basic pitches: fastball, curve, slider, change. His breaking stuff probably his best asset.
Pujols fires to Loesch on an excellent play, although the second baseman Miles could have made the play easily, and it's out number 1.
That's Pujols turning around to check just that to Miles. Would you have had that? Yeah, I got you. I got your back, big fella.
Pujols really has turned himself into an outstanding defensive player. Must be going for a Gold Glove. He's gobbling up his second baseman's assists. Michael Bourne next.
I think he did. Didn't he win that last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You must want to keep that thing. Bourne at 205 with 2 homers, has 4 runs batted in. Michael 0 for 4 in this series, and Loesch is pitching upstairs. 1 ball and 1 strike. Kyle last year 9-12 for Cincinnati and Philadelphia with a 4.62 ERA. Curveball misses, and it's 59 degrees at game time. Loesch last time out in 4 innings allowed 8 hits and 4 runs, got a no decision against Milwaukee. But his ERA is 9th best in the National League. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Loesch has started 6 games in his career here at Busch Stadium with a 2-1 record and a 2.01 earned run average. A very nice acquisition by the Cardinals in spring training. It's 3-2. And Loesch had been sitting out there all winter as a free agent. Price came down. The Cardinals finally scooped him up. Troy Gloss, the third baseman, takes care of out number 2. He's been having vision problems, but he says they only affect him for night games.
And only in this ballpark, which is very peculiar.
It certainly is.
I'm not sure where they played their other road games, what the conditions were, if it's weather, allergies, or whatever. But it's kind of a weird combination of factors. Night games only, and only in this ballpark.
Yeah, well, they got him out of the game after he struck out twice Friday night with the bases loaded. Miguel Tejada looks at strike one. His batting average is 8th best in the league, 344. He has 4 homers, 20 runs batted in. He's tied for 6th in hits with 33 hits. And slices that one. No balls, 2 strikes to Tejada with 2 hits in this series and an RBI. Since he went into the number 3 spot in the lineup, the Astros have gone 6-2. Houston is 12-13, 4.5 behind the front running Cubs. The Cardinals are 15-10. They're 1.5 back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Cardinals have a rested bullpen. Adam Wainwright went the distance for them yesterday. Tejada has put some lumps on Losh's ERA, 6 for 13. And he cracks this one deep to left field. Skip Schumacher backing, leaping, and holding on. Tremendous play by Schumacher, who's moved to left field for this game, and that pays immediate dividends here in the first inning. The Astros out in order. Schumacher takes extra bases away from Tejada, going high. 0-0. Houston 0, St. Louis coming up with this starting lineup for Tony La Russa's Redbirds, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. It's Skip Schumacher in left field, Rick Ankiel in center, Albert Pujols the first baseman, Ryan Ludwig is the right fielder today, with Troy Gloss at third base, Aaron Miles at second. Yadier Molina is the catcher, the pitcher bats 8th, Kyle Loesch, and the shortstop Brendan Ryan is in the 9 spot. Brandon Backey goes to work. Schumacher has been a real factor, not only with his glove, as you just saw, but he's been doing a whale of a job as the leadoff man. There's strike one to Schumacher, a .310 hitter with 1 homer, 8 runs batted in. He has 6 doubles and a triple. 1 hit in this series. He scored 20 runs this year. One and one. Schumacher has a .406 on base average. That one goes in the air behind third base. Tejada sprinting out into left field. Carlos Lee in. Tejada with a limbo dance comes up without number 1.
Yeah, typically you think of a bright sunny day as being the real problem for infielders and outfielders on pop-ups and fly balls, but a day like today, it's kind of that white overcast sky. And Miggy battling, and then the feet go out from underneath, and great concentration to hang on.
Looking over at Carlos, but then as he closed in on it, as you saw, he had those difficulties and still was able to make a tremendous play. Now Rick Ankiel with a pop-up. This easier for Tejada. Still battling, as you saw Gloss on that pop-up. The players having a difficult time picking that ball out of the background.
Needed to use orange balls today. Here's the scouting report on Brandon Back. He needs to keep that fastball out of the middle of the plate, keep it on the edges, establish his breaking ball. And when he does that early, that's when he has his best days. And there's no quitting this dog. He's a fierce competitor. And this is an interesting confrontation here after the war of words back in Houston, and then a little dust up yesterday.
Everybody says, at least for public consumption, that is over now. There's ball 1 to Pujols. Pujols on a 7-game hitting streak. Checks in at .373. That's the 3rd best batting average in the league. Backey has faced Pujols in 10 at bats. Pujols has 3 hits, all of them homers, and he's also drawn 3 walks. Pujols gets a pitch to hit, pops it up. Lance Berkman over into foul ground. And that is a 1-2-3 first. Backey and Pujols just about 2 feet away. No word is said. 3 pop-ups get Backey through the first. No score. Houston 0, St. Louis 0. Coming up later on the Toyota Truck Game Break. Find out the latest news about your Houston Astros in the middle of the 7th here on FSN Houston. The Astros 6-9 in this ballpark. since it opened in 06. Lance Berkman gets it going in the second inning against Kyle Lohse. Berkman really pounding the ball. Checks in at 326, 8 homers, 23 runs batted in. Couple of home runs in this series coming yesterday off Adam Wainwright. And it's ball 1 to Lance. He's 4th in the league in total bases. He's tied for 2nd in homers and runs batted in now. Foul tip takes the count to 1 ball, 1 strike. And then Lance came up in the 9th inning with 2 outs, nobody on. And Wainwright said in today's papers he wasn't going to give him a chance to hit number 3 off him. So he walked Lance, walked Carlos Lee, and got Hunter Pence for the final out. That comes in, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Jim Joyce is calling the pitches.
You can tell when Jimmy Joyce is behind the plate.
Darth Vader?
No, he screams the strike call. He'll let you know on a called strike.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Little tap. Second baseman Miles throwing and throwing away. Berkman reaching on what is ruled an infield single.
Good hustle down the line by Lance. It appeared he was going to beat that play. Miles and Ryan talking about it. Brendan Ryan may be in position to make this play as he's playing over behind second base. Miles not able to get much on the throw. Good pitch. Puma with a good break out of the box. Well, among the many categories, he's among the league leaders in his stolen bases. He's 10th with his 4 bags.
Carlos Lee. Big Puma twitching a little bit off first, and Lohse steps back. Well, he is perfect, 4 for 4. Lee with the game-winning homer in the 9th inning Friday night, 269, 5 homers, 12 runs batted in. Carlos 1 for 7 in this series.
Ooh, I'd like to have that one back.
Well, he probably has said that about several pitches he's thrown in his career to Carlos Lee, because Carlos is hitting .386 against him. Lohse has not lost in 16 starts.
Is that right?
I didn't know that either. 1 ball, 1 strike. Last year he was 9-12. Lohse was drafted by the White Sox, traded to Minnesota, then another deal sent him to Cincinnati. Foul back, 1-2.
And some nice years in Minnesota, you know, and then going from Minnesota to Cincinnati and Philadelphia, all pretty good hitters park. He catches a little bit of a break moving to Busch Stadium here. Fairly pitcher friendly, 375 in the alleys, 335 down the lines.
He has not given up a home run this year. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pitching 29 1/3 innings so far this season without surrendering a long ball. Yeah, his 6-game winning streak dates back to last July 25th. Roy Oswalt, 6 innings yesterday, 5 hits, 3 runs, and no decision. Fly ball center field. Ankiel gets going and makes the catch. 1 out.
And a big difference in the game yesterday. The Cardinals were able to work some counts early and put some pressure on Roy early, and that built up his pitch count where he could only go 6, whereas Wainwright had a lot of quick innings early and was able to go the distance. He worked hard at the end of the ball game, ended up piling up a fairly high pitch count, but he had a lot left in his tank for the late innings.
Yeah, that's right. Dating back to last July 25th, he has not lost in 16 starts. Hunter Pence, the batter. Fouls it back, strike 1, 258 for Hunter, 1 homer. He's driven in 8, 1 for 7 in this series. Now, the thing that probably allows that to sneak up on people is Lohse wasn't winning a whole lot either, but just getting a ton of no decisions since last July. He was 1-0 in August and 2-0 in September. The ERAs were not all that great. 1 ball and 1 strike, but he didn't lose. And the Cardinals, who have rehabbing pitchers And there could be 3 with very good major league credentials who would join their staff this season. Chris Carpenter, Mark Mulder, and Matt Clement have filled in that gap nicely with Loesch in the rotation. Adam Wainwright showed all signs of why he's become a #1 pitcher with his complete game win yesterday. Wainwright threw 126 pitches. That was the Cardinals' first complete game of the year. Little chop goes to third. Troy Gloss throwing to Albert Pujols. 2 outs. Berkman to second. Loesch is 1-4 in his career against the Astros with a 3.95 ERA. And the primary reason for those losing streaks is he kept coming up against Roy Oswalt. He lost 3 of those to Roy.
Well, he's got to be a little smarter than that. Notice Troy Gloss got these has the sunglasses on down at third base now. He battled that pop up from first. He did not.
Mark Loretta, 222, no homers, 6 runs batted in. 0 for 3 in this series. He and Jeff Blum sharing third base while Ty Wigginton gets ready to go out on a rehab assignment. There's ball 1. Ty was saying before the game that he'll be leaving this afternoon to go back to Houston, and then we'll drive to Round Rock, play 3 games there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And the Astros have Thursday off, so hopefully he'll be back in the lineup Friday. Foul ball makes it 1 ball, 1 strike. And in the interim, Cecil Cooper said he'll go with Loretta in some of the games and Blum in some of the games at third base. Now, Blum might be a pinch hit selection if needed later on against Kyle Loesch, because Jeff is 5 for 13 with a homer against the right-hander.
You could call on Sean Barry to play a little third base in a pinch.
That's true. It's 2 balls and a strike with J.R. Tolles on deck.
So Yadier Molina out taking ground balls at third base. They were working with him before the game.
What do you think that's all about?
I don't know. Just maybe a plan B there. Ross continues to have problems with his vision.
Loesch is high with that one. It's 3-1. Loesch has had well, it's been snapped, but a 19-inning home scoreless streak that was snapped back on the 17th of April. So he's gotten a very nice feel here for this ballpark. Began his Cardinals tenure without allowing a run in back-to-back starts.
Not giving in. 3-1 breaking ball. Just the ability to do that just lets everybody in the Astros dugout know that you just can't sit fastball regardless of the situation.
Loesch on April 1st went 5 shutout innings against Colorado, got a no decision. In his next start on the 6th, 7 shutout innings and a 3-0 win over Washington.
This situation here we were talking about yesterday. 2 strikes on a pretty disciplined hitter with 2 outs. Lance Berkman can get a real aggressive secondary lead off second. He sees that pitch in the strike zone. Just go. It's either going to be strike 3 or put in play.
Foul back by Loretta.
Pretty good arms in the Cardinal outfield too. So you want to make sure you get a good jump out there at second base.
Yes.
Field the former pitcher. Schumacher did some pitching in high school, I think a little bit in college too, and they used to clock him at 94 miles an hour.
He has 3 outfield assists already. He's tied for the league lead. Fouled away by Loretta. Still a full count on Mark. Cardinals signed Loesch for 1 year, $4.25 million. Now the Phillies offered Loesch a much better deal than that after he finished the season with them last year. 3 years, $21 million early in the offseason. He turned that down. So the Cardinals really got a premium deal compared to that offer. Line drive left field. Berkman is headed for home. Schumacher with a throw to the plate. It is drifting, and Berkman beats the tag. Into second, Loretta, and it's 1-0 Houston as Loretta delivers. Very good at bat. Worked the count full. Fouled off pitches and hit the ball sharply, but even then Schumacher did show with his arm. Now he has 3 outfield assists. He's thrown out 2 at home plate this year.
Yeah, you see the secondary lead by Berkman and then the contact. And you assume 2 outs. It should be fairly easy to score on a base hit, but Schumacher got to it in a hurry. Good strong throw, and if it's on line, Lance is out.
Yes.
And Loretta heads up, moves into scoring position himself with that throw going home. That's the kind of play as a base runner, the back base runner, you're willing to get thrown out if they cut it off to make sure that run scores.
Now Mark in scoring position for J.R. Tolles after picking up his 7th RBI of the year. Strike to Tolles, 212 for J.R., 4 homers, 9 runs batted in. Tied for the lead among rookies in long balls. 0 for 3 in this series. Brad Ausmus did the catching yesterday. Brandon Backey's on deck. Breaking pitch makes it 0-2.
JR letting Jim Joyce know that he thought that ball was a little outside. The Puma with that speed run, infield knock.
Using his legs this year. Foul back, 0-2. Well, we've seen it throughout spring training with the Puma. He's been running hard. He's taking some extra bases, getting into the spirit of being on more of a running club this season.
Well, they've got JR set up to come inside here if they want. They've gone slider away 3 consecutive pitches and had him leaning for that one. They have to feel like they can jam him. Got to be careful. He's pretty quick in there.
Sure is. They pounded inside, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Mosher's had pretty good command of his fastball here in the early going. See, Molina sets up. He's been able to hit his spot most of the time.
Loesch, while he was unsigned, was throwing to hitters from colleges in Southern California. The Astros have really stepped it up with men in scoring position. That batting average of over 400, as you might have seen there in the last week. They're now hitting .282 as a team with men in scoring position, but here Loesch wins the battle for his first strikeout. The Astros settled for 1 run on 2 hits with a man left. They lead it over the Redbirds 1-0 in the second. Miguel Tejada to music. This is his routine before the first pitch of every game when he's at shortstop.
Hey!
And he is perfectly synchronized with the beat of the music. Isn't that amazing?
Give me a margarita and a bowl of chips.
Where's Jose Lima?
That's fun.
That's only before the first pitch. He doesn't do it every inning. Ryan Ludwig bats here in the home second inning. And Brandon Backey threads the needle. Strike called to Ludwig. 328, 4 homers, 12 runs batted in for Ryan, making his first appearance in this series. And the off-speed breaking pitch makes it no balls, 2 strikes. Ludwig 0 for his last 8 at bats. But he had a game-winning hit, 2-run double in the 9th inning in Houston on April 7th off Jose Valverde. This one up the right field line. Hunter Pence over. It's foul. Still no balls, 2 strikes on Ludwig. Ludwig certainly had great numbers for the amount of playing time he's had. A .690 slugging percentage. Cardinals would love to get that kind of production from whoever is the number 4 hitter behind Albert Pujols, because Pujols has walked 25 times this year. And he's on a pace to really cause the number 4 hitters to do a lot.
Plenty of opportunities if you're hitting behind Albert.
Fly ball at the right field line goes foul again. Yeah, so the guys behind Albert are going to have to make other teams pay, or things may not click too well for the St. Louis offense. They're fine so far. They're 5th in the league in runs scored. And they've drawn more walks than any other major league team. 128. Breaking pitch. Ludwig strikes out. Mackey did a good job of varying speeds.
Yeah, that's why I said in the scouting report it's important for him to establish that breaking ball early. Throw it down here for a strikeout, and the other thing he does well is he'll throw that bigger breaking ball and just kind of drop it into the strike zone for strike one on an 0-0 pitch. He's got both the curveball and the slider, an effective straight change, mostly to the left-handed hitters. His fastball velocity is just average.
Troy Gloss looks at ball one. Gloss is homerless, JD.
Yeah, he's hit some doubles, but he hit one out of the ballpark, and we heard some boo birds yesterday for Gloss here in St. Louis.
He has a 27-game homerless streak dating back to last year. That's the second longest of his career. And he's been going to an ophthalmologist to try to sort out his vision problems in these home night games. Curveball makes it 1-2. Gloss left the game Friday night. We mentioned he struck out twice with the bases loaded. That one comes right in over the inside corner. And he's hitting only .209 at home and .310 on the road. He struck out 8 times and 24 at bats at home. At night, and not a story for him with his vision during the day. No problem there.
Doesn't wear corrective lenses, does he, Brownie?
No, but
he's no talk of that.
He's experimenting with some clear lens sunglasses. He's going to try those tomorrow night.
Just to keep the elements out of his eyes.
Yes.
It's only 31. Vision shouldn't be failing him.
No. No.
Wait till you get to my age, Troy.
His eyes are actually watering. That's what's causing the difficulty. So he's trying some medication to dry them out a little bit. And the doctor has told him it's most likely allergies. Join the club, Troy. And this is a tough area for allergies. That one goes to right center. Michael Bourne with a long run heads for the warning track, and it's out number 2.
It's a comforting feeling for a pitcher when you give up a ball like that and you pretty much know it's going to be caught. You know, you can tell, usually you can tell when one's going to leave the yard off the bat. So that one, Brandon, so that's going to stay in the ballpark, and it's high enough. My guy's going to get it. Sure enough, Michael Bourne able to track it down easily.
Brandon's 1-1 in his career in this ballpark. Fly ball pitcher who can benefit from an outfielder's catch like that one. And he wants, looking in now to the home plate umpire, saying something with Jim Joyce. Aaron Miles, 260, no homers, 3 runs batted in.
Probably checking to see if he could blow on his hand on the mound. It's cold out today.
Ball 1. And it could get pretty nasty if that rain that has been moving this way moves in during the game. But it's a very light rain from what we're hearing, so perhaps playable, unlike Friday night when we had a 2-hour rain delay at the outset. Cardinals have played well at home. They're 9-5 in this ballpark this year. 2-0. And just talking with Cecil Cooper before the game. Does he like getting a lot of road games out of the way early in the season? Does he like playing more divisional games early in the season? He said, I spend no time on any of that stuff. It just really doesn't matter to me at all.
It's a 162 game grind.
Liner to right, a hit. Miles gives the Cardinals their first base runner with a 2-out single.
If you're in this game and you're worrying about the schedule and who the opponent is on any given night, or how many times you play within your division, and whether you've got a heavy road load early or late or any of that kind of stuff, I mean, you're just going to be overwhelmed. You just go get it every day. Go strap it on, go to the yard, have your cup of coffee, go play ball.
That's pretty much the way he characterized it. Worry about that day's game. Yadier Molina, 278, 1 homer, 7 runs batted in on a 3-game hitting streak. He's 5 for 10 in his last 3. Liner to left. Carlos Lee backing for the 3rd out. No runs, a hit, a man stranded after 2. Houston 1, St. Louis nothing.
Hey. Hey. Hey.
Well, that gentleman with his hat on, of course, would love that type of music today. See too many of those here in St. Louis. Brandon Backey takes ball 1.
As opposed to the proliferation of them we see everywhere else.
It's 2 balls and no strikes. Backey's 1 for 8. That's a different touch.
It's going to get to be annoying after a while,
Yeah,
I would
how
think.
can you see through all that? Is that Randy Quaid? 2 balls and a strike.
It's Cousin Eddie.
That's a beauty.
Ooh.
It hits the third base bag and goes into left field, and Brandon Backey just hit one right on the base for hit number 2 of the year.
Now you got robbed. Would have been an easy double.
That's right.
And not hit the base.
Popped straight up in the air about 25 feet. Here it is.
Good swing of the bat.
That did keep it from going down into the left field corner or ricocheting off that sidewall. And therefore, he only gets a single.
Well, the advantage of having a guy like Backey on your club, not only can he help himself with the bat, but he's a good enough athlete that if you want to, play hit and run, you can do that. It doesn't have to be a great bunt to advance him because he runs really well.
Matsui takes strike 1.
He and Albert having those words when we were in Houston a while back after BP one day, so it's kind of an awkward moment, I'm sure.
Now Roy Oswalt and Brandon Backey have the co-lead with 2 hits each. Pickoff throw. Backey dives back in.
Molina loves to throw to the bases. You got to keep your eye on him, especially with that inside fastball to a left-handed hitter.
He's picked off 2 this year and 21 in his career.
Yeah, he'll call that. He'll call that inside fastball with a left-handed hitter up there for that very reason, so he can make that throw.
Pujols tagged him on the face. But Brandon just barely made it back in. So somebody will be writing a story about that tomorrow, how Pujols tagged Backey on the face. It's been interesting, this rivalry heating up a little bit with some elements that had not been seen in previous years. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And neither side really saying a whole lot after that game yesterday.
Good changeup. Had Kaz out in front. Well, you play so many games within the division, sooner or later you're going to have some kind of an issue with just about every club.
Exactly. Fly ball to right. Ludwig. 1 out. Kind of interesting to sample opinion about that. Go ahead, JD.
On Friday night, the Astros host the Brewers. It's a 7:05 game, and the first 10,000 fans will receive an Astros mesh jersey courtesy of Citgo. After the game, a spectacular fireworks show. That's presented by Marathon Oil Corporation. Tickets start at just $1 for kids, $7 for adults. That means, and we'll do the math for you, a family of 4 can attend for only $16. Get your tickets at Astros.com. Hi, fellas.
Dave Raymond on the left, Brett Dolan on the right in their travel gear today. Over on Astros radio with their ties on. Very nice look. Strike to Michael Bourne.
They clean up well, those guys.
They love to travel. Michael popped up to third base in the first inning. Miguel Tejada's on deck.
Back.
Ooh. You could be an assistant coach.
I could be signaling the first base coach, a la the Chicago White Sox.
They wouldn't signal. No. Fly ball on the infield. And Miles is underneath it. That's out number 2. And Miguel Tejada comes up.
I think we've got a theme developing with the infield pop-up in this ball game.
Dave Raymond is way ahead of us. He thinks we're playing that game again, and he's already holding up 2 fingers for number 2. Whatever the choices are, he's going to have choice number 2 on Stump the Astros radio broadcasters. We're not playing that game today, though, are we?
Well, it depends on the nature of this game.
Okay.
If it starts slogging along, we're going to have to come up with something to talk about.
Tejada ripped a line drive. It was caught at the left field wall by Skip Schumacher on an excellent play.
And they continue to pound him in, but the pitch he hit to left field last time was a fastball down and in, and he was able to get to it. So it'll be interesting to see whether they change their approach at all. Bottom line is, with a hitter like Tejada, you've got to go in and out, change speeds. He's too good of a hitter to think you can pitch him just one way.
Yeah, the Cardinals have done their share of that, crowding him inside with fastballs and then trying to go breaking pitch away. But in this case, missing both times. Loesch is behind 2-0. Meanwhile, that gentleman would probably appreciate the little video routine of Miguel Tejada, put together by our producer Wave Robinson, by Jerry Blancas, Paul Bykowski, all the guys in the truck. 3 balls, no strikes for Loesch. Loesch looked forward to working with pitching coach Dave Duncan. That was one of the reasons he anticipated joining this Cardinal club.
Loesch is of a Native American descent.
Yes.
I can't remember the tribe he belongs to.
Don't recall the tribe.
And the 3-0 fastball used to be years ago, 3-0, 3-1. When you were going to throw a fastball, you'd throw it to the outside corner, but hitters will take advantage of that now. So you see more inside fastballs on hitters' counts.
Liner to right field. Ludwig playing very deep. Will have to come in, and Backey probably could have made third base, but with 2 outs, didn't want to make the third out of the inning at third. So because Ludwig was so exceptionally deep for Tejada, he had to come a long way in to field that ball.
And with 2 outs and a man on first, the Cardinals outfield playing no doubles. By playing deep, they prevent the ball from going over their heads. It's easier to cut off a ball in the alley. A double would have likely scored Backey.
Tejada kind of had that look on his face. Maybe he might have been surprised a little bit. Lance Berkman's the batter. He reached on an infield hit and scored.
Well, it's not worth the gamble.
No.
To try to get to third there.
Well, Backey runs well and should be able to score on a Berkman hit with 2 outs.
The way Lance has been going, he might be able to jog home here in a little bit. Loesch isn't careful.
Ground ball. Pujols to his right. Will flip to the shortstop. And Ryan takes the throw. It's no runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left in the middle of the 3rd inning. 1-0 Houston. You see there the Astros' upcoming home schedule, brought to you by the 25,000 members of the Houston Association of Realtors. The Brewers are in May 2nd through the 4th. Then the Nationals follow on that homestand the 6th through the 8th. And later on, the Cubs and Phillies from the 19th to the 25th. 1-0 Houston. Kyle Loesch, the pitcher, batting 8th, takes strike 1. Loesch looks at that one and quickly is in an 0-2 hole, leading off the home 3rd inning. Adam Wainwright, yesterday's Cardinal starter, had a hit in the 4th inning. Loesch, a 175 career hitter. And he's down on strikes. That's number 2 for Backey. Backey in his career 2-1 against St. Louis with a 5.64 ERA. That's during the regular season, but during the postseason, he's had 2 spectacular starts against the Redbirds. Last time he faced the Cardinals here last September 21st, he won that game, giving up 2 runs in 6 innings. Ryan 4 for 11 with 1 RBI. He's hit in all 3 games since coming back from the disabled list. The rib cage injury this spring. Up the middle and into center field, and now Ryan extends his hitting streak to 4 games. He's aboard for Skip Schumacher.
Cardinals don't do a lot of running. Ryan, a guy that they might try to steal a bag with, stays on this fastball and just bangs it right back through the box. Brandon's delivery has him falling off a little bit to the first base side. Otherwise, he would have been in position to snag that comebacker.
Ryan runs pretty well. Skip Schumacher popped a shortstop in the first inning. And he had a decent sized lead, drawing a throw from Backey. Cardinals have attempted 16 stolen bases. 11 of them have succeeded. Foul ball away. Strike 1 to Schumacher. In Game 5 of the National League Championship Series, Brandon Backey, with his most memorable performance in 2004, pitched 8 innings, allowing the Redbirds 1 hit, no runs. He left with the game scoreless. Jeff Kent won it on a 3-run homer. Diving back in, Ryan. Cardinals have attempted only 1 steal in their 5 games with the Astros. St. Louis has won 3. Houston has won 2. All 5 of these games have been decided by either 1 or 2 runs between the 2 clubs. 0-2 to Schumacher.
Schumacher had that game-winning hit yesterday to left field, and the Astros play him as an off-field hitter. Carlos towards the line and Michael Bourne shading towards left center.
That was his 3rd game-winning hit already this season. Backey keeps making good throws over, and it's been pretty close on Ryan going back each time. Texas A&M is throttling Missouri after winning 15-0 yesterday. It's 2-0 in the bottom of the 4th today. Strike 3. Schumacher caught looking for out number 2. That's the 3rd strikeout for Backey.
And so far so good for Brandon today. Good 2-seam fastball running to the outside corner, bottom of the knees, right where JR was asking for it.
Backey trying to square his record at 1-2. Faces Rick Ankiel. Another throw to first. Ankiel went for the first pitch, popped up to shortstop. He's been in a slump lately. He hasn't had an RBI in his last 37 at bats. In tight, ball 1 to Ankiel. His batting average was .286. It's come down to .247 at game time since his last RBI April 13th at San Francisco.
Yeah, so I don't think Brandon should disregard Ryan over there at first base, but I wouldn't focus too much of my attention there. I just concentrate on getting Ankiel with Pujols on deck. You know, sometimes a pitcher will hasten his delivery to try to shut down the running game a little bit, and you lose command. I would kind of forget about Ryan right now and just try to get Ankiel and finish this inning.
Now it's 3-0. Pujols on deck. .31 pitches for Backey so far. Three balls, 1 strike. The fans coming to the game today are getting a replica of Sportsman's Park former home of the St. Louis Cardinals and St. Louis Browns. From 1920 through 1966. It was renamed Busch Stadium in 1953 when Anheuser-Busch bought the team. That's ball 4, and now Albert Pujols comes to the plate with 2 on and 2 out.
Walks have been a bit of an issue for Brandon so far this year, issuing 15 in 26 innings prior to today, but a pretty good command so far up until this point.
Pujols fouled out to first in the first inning. 3 for 11 in his career against Backey. And both of these competitors have assured people who asked that that little conversation they had is not an issue anymore. Strike to Pujols. Pujols has been on base in all 25 Cardinal games this year. Ryan Ludwig's on deck. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Albert yesterday, as you see, with men in scoring position, 7 for 19, 368, reaffirmed what a good hitter he is with the 2-run double in the third off Roy Oswalt. Not seeing a whole lot of pitches to hit this season, but when he does, he's coming through a very high percentage of the time. Curveball makes it 1-2. Pujols a .313 career hitter against the Astros. Pujols with 4 home runs this year has 286 for his career. He became the youngest player ever to reach 250 homers. He's only 28 now. 2-2. And his strike zone judgment is impeccable.
Yeah, for a guy who hits as many home runs as he does, and it's because he's so strong, he doesn't have to load up and take a big swing, so he can stay back and be real short to the ball, take a quick path, and so he doesn't fool easily. Every now and then you can catch him out in front, and they've worked him away exclusively throughout this at bat. I don't know if he feels confident enough in his fastball that he could hit his spot inside, but it might be worth a shot to try to jam him.
Pujols calls time.
Of course, when he's hot, the best place to pitch him is probably low and behind. You can't hit that one.
Maybe where Wainwright pitched Osmus yesterday. That might work.
It's hard to hit that one.
Now it's 3-2.
The hitter becomes tougher to fool the more you throw that pitch. You know, he's throwing that breaking ball. He's thrown 1 changeup high, and everything else has been a curveball or a slider to the outside part of the plate. So, you know, he's seeing it time and time again. And so it's more difficult to get him to chase that pitch. You might get him to put it in play, and maybe that's their plan. We just want to throw him a little slider off the plate, and hopefully he'll get a fly ball to right field or something like that.
3-2, 2 outs, 2 on. The runners move. Ludwig is on deck. And it's ball 4. The bases are loaded.
I think Brandon had some words with him there. I had something to say or look at him because of the way Albert flipped the bat after the walk. We'll show you pitch by pitch what I was talking about, how he stays away first with the breaking ball. There's a high change up there. Good curveball. And then a slider running well off the plate one more time. It's tough to fool the hitter when you stay in the same spot. And it looked like Brandon either looked in Albert's direction or had something to say to him after Albert kind of flipped his bat in disdain after the walk.
Well, J.R. Tolles immediately bounced out from behind the plate, and Dewey Robinson immediately ran to the mound. So Pujols throwing the walk, his 26th of the year, to load the bases. Now as a spectator as Ludwig bats. Ludwig struck out in the 2nd inning.
You know, kind of treating that at bat with Pujols as if first base were open, and there's nothing wrong with that, but you've got to get this guy now.
Tap to third, and Loretta gets the important out of the inning, forcing Ankiel, and Snow runs a hit. 3 men stranded after 3-1-0 Houston.
Top of the 4th from St. Louis. The Astros lead the Cardinals 1-0. Astros in the Brewers next Sunday afternoon. The 105 ball game. The first 10,000 fans will receive a Craig Biggio interlocking bobblehead, courtesy of Coca-Cola and Walmart. This is the first in a 2-piece set that will also feature Jeff Bagwell. Also, bring out the kids for M&M Mars Kids Run the Bases after the game. For more information, Astros.com.
And then Backey just got a big out with the bases loaded, retiring Ludwig on a ground ball. Now it's 1-0 Houston. Inning number 4 begins with Carlos Lee. Lee looking at ball 1, hit a fly ball to center in the 2nd inning. Kyle Loesch said that after joining the Cardinals, he threw more sinkers, 2 seamers, and curveballs, working more on getting the hitters out with movement. And after his first 3 starts, he said he threw more curveballs in those 3 starts than he did in his last 2 or 3 years combined, thanks to Dave Duncan, who restored his confidence in that pitch. 1-2. Those are the pitching lines through the first 3. Two balls, 2 strikes.
Good changeup.
Yep. Lee strikes out.
I mentioned that he was a Native American. He's part of the Nomlaki Winton tribe.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Nomlaki Wintun.
Never heard of that one.
Not familiar with it either. He and Jacob Ellsbury, Jobber Chamberlain, Native American players.
Hunter Pence rolled out to third. There's strike 1 to Hunter. Hunter said before the game today that Lance Berkman was to blame for Hunter's 8-game hitting streak coming to an end yesterday.
Did he jinx him or something?
Yeah. He said they'd been doing a drill before each game during the 8-game hitting streak. And Lance did not do the drill with him yesterday. It was an early day game, and they both just bypassed it.
I hope they did it again today then.
Let's hope.
What was the drill?
He wouldn't say. It's a secret.
Ah, it's like a secret handshake or something, or is it a legitimate hitting drill?
Sounded like a legitimate hitting drill, but he might have been just having some fun with us, you know. But Lance was well aware and assumed culpability in the end of Hunter's streak. Foul back, 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Lance said, well, veterans have to take their responsibility too, even though it's not their own streak. Yes, I was at fault for that.
He hit that ball hard in his at bat in the 5th inning. He hit a BB, but right at the shortstop.
Yeah, he did. That was a good at bat in the 5th inning yesterday. This one goes out of play, and he's making a lot of these Cardinal faithful very happy with foul balls. Here's a play.
Nice. Concentration. Holding it up to show the umpire that he made the catch, even while tumbling down the stairs.
Jim Joyce is upset at something, and he's walking over to the Cardinal dugout, and it might be something. He was pointing out the center field. Well, he wasn't necessarily upset. He just came over to say something.
Maybe going on with the signage, or?
Yeah, I don't think it's anything anybody said from the Cardinal dugout. Something with the ballpark in center field. But he was directing them to attend to something. 3 balls, 2 strikes. What could that be?
I don't know. I'm looking out there seeing if there are any lights on that shouldn't be on or anything like that. Maybe he wants the lights on in the ballpark.
That could well be. Yeah, it might be getting a little dark at home plate. What do they call those? Toothbrush lights?
Okay. Go for that.
Hunter Pence draws a walk, and that's the first of the day for Kyle Loesch. Mark Loretta, who has the RBI in this game with a single to left field, bats for the second time. Let's check a little bonus trivia for you, JD. Who holds the Cardinals record for walks by a rookie hitter?
I have no idea.
Well, it's a tough one, but there's a connection.
All right.
There's ball one. It does go back. The hit goes back pretty far to before you were born.
So before Musial, before Hornsby.
No, not before Hornsby. It was 51, I think.
Does it go back to before Hornsby? You know, there's not a whole lot before him.
No. Musial was playing then. I think it was 51. Was the year. And this record was set by someone who's now living in Houston.
Solly Hemus?
You got it.
Wow.
Time called. Mark Loretta with a 1-0 count. Was waiting for a while. Didn't want to wait any longer on Loesch.
So Solly was in on-base percentage before it was cool. That's why he became a manager.
That's true. Fouled away by Mark Loretta. It's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Solly still gets out to the ballpark quite a bit.
Yes, he does. Always great to see him there, even though he's a worldwide traveler.
And we missed our good buddy Sonny Cabanis this time around in St. Louis.
What happened to him?
I don't know. He's in St. Louis.
He's almost always here. It's a meet me in St. Louis kind of thing. A standing offer with Sonny. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Cardinals are home for a nice long stretch. This is their longest homestand of the year. Tough to hit that pitch.
Yeah, you can make a lot of living right there. If you can throw that pitch down there for strikes, even though that was over the fat part of the plate, down at the bottom of the knees, there's not a whole lot of hitters going to do with it.
No.
You know, maybe ground ball single somewhere.
Loretta takes, and it's 2-2. This is a 9-game homestand for the Redbirds, their longest of the year, and they play Cincinnati next. Then the Cubs come in.
The Astros may be inclined to play a little run and hit here with Loretta being such a capable bat handler and Pence down there at first. Cardinals are thinking that way too. They're going to throw over.
Well, it's a pretty good pairing with Hunter's speed and Mark's bat control, as you indicated.
That's why I imagine Tony La Russa wished that Loesch had been a little more aggressive with the 1-2 pitch. The Astros not likely to do it on 1-2, but now it's 2-2, so the pitch out is less of a threat.
Molina has thrown out 2 of 10 this year compared to 54% for his career. So something's going on with Molina, and a couple of times in Houston, the Astros with Michael Bourne getting huge jumps, stole by such big margins. He didn't even throw. That's unusual.
Maybe the pitcher's not giving him a real shot.
That's probably the root of it. Line shot caught, and the Cardinals get a double play. That ball was blistered by Loretta, but right at Miles. It's Miles to Pujols for 2. No runs, no hits, nobody left. In the middle of the 4th inning, 1-0 Houston. It's 1-0. Houston leading in St. Louis. The Cardinals are coming up in the bottom of the 4th inning. Cardinal faithful usually attired in red here. Bonus trivia: who holds the Cardinals record for walks by a rookie hitter? We go back to the 1951 season when Solly Hemus set the mark. Still stands with 75 walks. Later, as JD mentioned, he became the Cardinal skipper. Troy Gloss looks at one up and in, ball one. Gloss hit a warning track fly ball to right center in the second inning on a 2-2 count. Both sides were warned yesterday after Wainwright threw a pitch behind Ausmus. Two balls, no strikes. Tony La Russa said that his club likes to pitch inside to make the hitters shuffle their feet. He said the Astros like to do the same thing. Cardinals were acting publicly like it was a pitch from Wainwright that just got away. And that's common. Two balls and a strike.
Although Wainwright basically said, I'm just playing baseball. I'm just,
yeah,
just baseball. So he didn't say that it was a pitch that got away from him. He basically was saying it's part of the game after my guy got hit to kind of come in hard on your guy. And that's fine, but throwing behind the guy,
that is dangerous.
Yeah. Well, at least it was not up around the head.
True. And Ausmus, of course, exchanged words with Wainwright and La Russa. And he was pretty well convinced because Wainwright shook off 3 or 4 signs before he threw that pitch. Brad was leading off the inning after Jason LaRue had been hit by Roy Oswalt. Mark Loretta. 1 out.
Fear is always there for a hitter. You know, always in the back of the mind, and sometimes closer to the front of the mind, depending on who the pitcher is and how hard he throws and what the reputation is. And it's such a valuable weapon for a pitcher to use intimidation.
Aaron Miles singled to right field in the second inning. No repercussions from that today. Strictly baseball. There's ball one. And even if you were a starting pitcher who felt that you were getting a little emotionally distraught by those developments, you still have a ball game to win. And that's more important. That overrides your own personal intent to get even with something that may have happened before.
Yeah, you know, I've heard that discussed by a lot of different players over the years. You know, I think your foremost responsibility is to try to win the game. Other guys will argue, look, it's a long year and I've got to stand up for my position players, and if I get ejected because I knock somebody down or drill somebody, you know, I'm willing to take that.
Hunter Pence covers it in right center field, and Miles is 2 for 2 in this game.
The ideal situation is to pick the right time where the game is in hand, or your time in the game is short anyway, and if you want to send some kind of a message or respond. Quick stroke there by Miles as he gets on top of the high fastball. Don't condone headhunting at all, but you know, with so much you know, video and all the highlights being replayed, if pitcher pitches hard inside and gets a reputation for knocking hitters down, everybody around the league has to recognize that. They see it, and it has to be part of your game plan when you go into hit against that given pitcher.
Dewey Robinson pitched in the minor leagues for Tony La Russa. Yadier Molina with ball one. Molina lined out to left in the second inning. Bob Gibson. You know, Gene Lamont pointed this out a few years ago when he was an Astros coach. We were having a conversation about pitchers hitting guys, and I brought up Bob Gibson. He said, if you'll look, he really didn't hit that many guys. And I looked it up, and Gene was right. But then the other part of that is when hitters went to the plate and they figured it was about time for Bob to throw at him, they got out of the way. They were very quick to hit the deck, and hitters today, I don't think, do that as much. They're in there, they're very aggressive, they're looking for pitches away that they're going to drive. I think it's a little bit tougher for hitters today to get out of the way on those inside pitches.
Well, yeah, they dive to cover the outside corner. Hitters are more willing to put their body at risk, and that's why we talked earlier. When I talked earlier about the 3-0, 3-1 cripple fastballs, how it used to be you always went away. It's because hitters weren't diving in those counts, so you didn't want to make a mistake middle in. So you just shoot for that outside corner down and away, knowing the best the guy could do is just flip it the other way. Now guys dive and will hook that ball or just hammer it the other way, as opposed to just kind of feeling for it. So it's, you know, the nature of the game has changed, and I think some of the, you know, this guy was so intimidating and the players today are soft and blah blah blah. I think that's highly overstated. But that's what I mean. You can get a reputation, and it'll do a lot for you as a pitcher if they think they're going to throw one in their ribs.
Yes.
I mean, what was the mindset of the hitters back in the day facing Nolan? How comfortable were they going into the box? If you took a big mighty rip against Nolan and he thought you were taking some liberties in that batter's box, he was going to give you a bow tie.
Yep.
He was going to let you know, no, this that's not going to fly with me.
So Wainwright threw one behind Ausmus yesterday, and he has very good control.
A lot of pitchers don't have the stomach to play that game. They don't want to get involved in it. And that's part, and I think that's what I was speaking to earlier with the hitters with their game plan. I think some hitters will go into a series, and if they know a guy is willing to come hard in, they say, well, I'm just going to kind of hang in there and try to get my base hit, try to get my 1 for 4 off this guy, because I know tomorrow's pitcher doesn't pitch that way, and I'll do my damage against him.
Big 3-1 pitch coming here to Molina. Runner goes. It's ball 4. Third walk. And it's Loesch, the pitcher, batting with runners at first and second and 1 out. Loesch struck out in the 3rd inning. Tolles out for a chat with Backey. Now Mark Loretta's coming over. And a bunt situation.
Jose Kendo down to have a chat with Loesch, and bunt in order here with first and second, but there's 1 out. So if a successful sacrifice means the Cardinals get 1 chance to drive in 2 runs, and it's Brendan Ryan. He's been hitting well since coming off the disabled list, but I think of him as a real run producer. So with that in mind, the Cardinals may shake things up here and let Loesch swing away. I wouldn't be surprised to see him pull the bat back and try to slug one if the Astros come real aggressively from the corners.
3 walks, 3 strikeouts for Backey, 3 1/3 pitches, 3 1/3 innings pitched. He's thrown 53 pitches. Berkman charging. Bunted to Loretta. He bare hands and gets it to Matsui. And the sacrifice, the second of the year for Loesch, gets Miles to third and Molina to second.
Another big at bat here in the 4th. In the 3rd inning with the bases loaded, Brandon able to get Ryan Lugsberg on a ground ball to third base on the first pitch. And now second and third, and he's got Brendan Ryan up there. Only option was to play at first. Perfectly executed sacrifice by Kyle Loesch.
Backey gets a little break here before facing Ryan. Ryan singled up the middle in the 3rd inning. Ryan has moved in at shortstop since returning from the disabled list and played some good games. He's 26 years old, from Los Angeles. Cesar Torres has been out a few days with an injury, but he's ready to go again now, and Ryan stays in the lineup. Strike. Ryan presents much more of an offensive threat than his Torres. He hit .289 last year. Miles on with a 1-out singles at third. Molina behind him at second base. Schumacher's on deck. It's low for a 1-ball 1-strike count. Backey went 7 innings in his last start against the Padres, giving up 3 runs, getting a no decision. He threw 93 pitches in that one. This is his 4th start on the road this season already. Dewey Robinson hoping he can get this out and maintain the 1-0 advantage. Carlos Lee in left center. Now he comes in and makes the catch. No runs a hit. 2 men stranded after 4. 1-0 Houston. Houston 1, St. Louis nothing. Tonight at 9 on My 20. Doug's old high school rivalry flares up again. It's King of Queens tonight at 9 on My 20. Right after this ball game, which has made its way through 4 innings now. We're looking at center field, and we were speculating that Jim Joyce, the home plate umpire, might have been instructing that That center field area, you see it's black right now, but it rotates and there's advertising on it. There was just a yellow background in between innings, and maybe that had been up earlier when Hunter Pence was batting, and he instructed Cardinal management not to change that. He wants that dark hitting background. Just a guess at this point. There's ball one to J.R. Tolles. He struck out in the second inning. This one goes to right field. Ryan Ludwig. One down for Kyle Loesch. He's surrendered 4 hits. Brandon Backey's given up 3. All the hits in the games have been singles. The Cardinals have left 6 men on base compared to the Astros 3. Friday night, the Redbirds stranded 11 in their 3-2 loss. They left the bases loaded in both the first and second innings. Brandon Backey drilled one and hit the third base bag, popped up in the air, and he got a single on it. Here's strike one.
Yeah, Astros have had some tough luck today. His ball, you know, if it doesn't hit the bag, he's got a double. Tejada hit that bullet in the first inning to left field that Schumacher was able to track down, and then the line drive double play off the bat of Mark Loretta. All balls really scalded.
Yep.
Just the one little single.
Check swing call at first base by Jeff Nelson. 2 balls and a strike. Kyle Loesch, one reason the Cardinals liked him is that he has been an innings eater in his career. It's 3-1 now. Loesch can earn bonuses for reaching certain plateaus of innings pitched this year. He's made 30 or more starts in 5 of the last 6 seasons. Grounded foul. 3 balls, 2 strikes. CC Sabathia is hooked up in a pitching duel with Chen-Min Wong of the Yankees. Yankees 1, Indians nothing, top of the 8th in Cleveland.
Also CC back after a rugged start.
Yeah. Fly ball to center. Ankiel drifting. 2 down.
Coca-Cola Value Nights are back every Friday night home game, excluding the Yankees and Red Sox games. You can score 4 tickets, 4 dogs, 4 Cokes, 2 Astro caps for only $75 when you bring a label from a 2-liter bottle of specially marked Coca-Cola products. That's a $70 savings. After the game each Friday night, of course, fireworks presented by Marathon Oil. Astros.com for tickets.
It is a value night. Kazuo Matsui has grounded to Pujols with the pitcher covering and fly to right. Showing bunt. He takes ball 1, trying to get a rally started with 2 outs by reaching with Michael Bourne on deck. Mets are leading the Braves 6-3 in the top of the 8th inning. John Smoltz started that game for Atlanta, gave up 4 earned runs in 4 innings and was taken out. Carlos Delgado hit a homer off him, and Delgado now has hit another one.
You see the text message that Greg Maddux sent Smoltz after he got his 3,000th strikeout?
No.
Said 1 for every hair you've lost.
To Hopper, and it's Miles to Pujols. An easy 5th inning for Loesch. 1-0 Houston. What's on tap with the Astros is brought to you by Bud Light. Looking ahead to the Astros versus the Diamondbacks, Chris Sampson, Jack Castle, Sean Chacon pitching in that 3-game series starting tomorrow night at 8 o'clock on FSN Houston in HD tomorrow. 1-0 Houston here. Brandon Backey throwing ball 1 to Skip Schumacher, who popped a short and struck out looking. Michael Bourne is stationed well over into left center field. Hunter Pence shading to right center. That evens the count. 1 ball, 1 strike for Brandon Backey. Line. What a catch by Matsui. Spider-Man went up and snagged that one.
Perfect timing. And he needed it. And he needed every inch he got. Just able to snare that. That was a screamer. We talked about the Astros hitting into some tough luck. Now they catch a break. This ball scalded by Skip Schumacher, and watch Kazmad Sui just explode.
What a nice play. Now Rick Ankiel takes strike one.
Like a jack in the box.
Wow, is that gorgeous. Perfectly timed. Ankiel has popped up and walked out in front of the changeup. That makes it 0-2. That's such a lift for a pitcher.
Yeah, absolutely, because he's thinking, all right, I've had 2 tough innings in a row with base runners. I'd be able to get out of it, but I could use a quick one here. And he's thinking, oh, here's a leadoff single I'm going to have to work around.
Yeah, his mound opponent just had an easy inning. Looking tough today. That ball scalded, and Schumacher's taken off the board. 1-2 now to Ankiel with Pujols next. It's another reason it's such a big play, because of the hitters who follow in the lineup. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Backing his career on the road, 8-12 with a 5.54 ERA. Three balls, 2 strikes for Brandon. You saw him blowing on his hand. It's getting a little cooler now as this game progresses. The breeze coming up a little bit. Rain expected to be moving toward this area, but what are they doing? Eating ice cream? Maybe not. Fastball in, and it's ball 4. Ankiel draws his second walk of the day. That's number 4 for Backey. And now he deals with Pujols.
And some walks are because you're being careful. Other walks because you just can't make the pitch. And these walks to Ankiel with a ladder. With Pujols, it's a matter of being very cautious. But he's trying to get Ankiel out. Just couldn't hit his spot.
Pujols fouled out to first earlier before that walk in the 3rd inning. He looks at ball 1. The Tampa Bay Rays lead the Red Sox 2-0 in the 7th. James Shields pitching a beauty against Josh Beckett. Evan Longoria hit home run number 3. One ball, 1 strike to Pujols.
But he and Mickey Hatcher together, we'd have the all desperate housewives team.
Washington leads the Cubs 2-0. Washington bats in the bottom of the 7th inning. Now 2 balls, 1 strike. Ludwig's on deck. Houston starting pitchers have really done well recently. Quality starts in 6 of the last 7 games, meaning at least 6 innings in those 6 games. So the bullpen has had a rest, maybe almost too much of a rest. Ball 3, and it's 3-1. So probably ball 4 is coming here rather than give in to Pujols.
Well, I think so. Once you adopt this game plan of trying to get him to chase, and he almost never does, I think you have to stay with it. And certainly don't give in and throw him a cripple fastball. You might try to throw a breaking pitch in the strike zone, or throw a perfect fastball over the outside corner, the bottom of the knees.
Ankiel back on that throw. He has not attempted a stolen base this year.
Toles wanted to start this at bat with an inside fastball, and Brandon just threw it to the other side of the plate. So whenever a pitcher, you can tell when a pitcher doesn't, have confidence in a pitch, he's going to cut it off. So you wouldn't go back in there because you don't feel like he's comfortable making that pitch.
Pujols walks for the 2nd time. That's 5 walks for Backey.
Well, once again, they're trying to get Albert to chase out of the zone, and that's a very difficult proposition. The slider for strike 1 there, even the count, and the changeup, and you see Albert so balanced in the box. He knows what they're trying to do to him. He's just going to stand there and take his walk.
Now Ludwig, who is struck out and bounced into a force play. A key confrontation here in the 5th inning of this 1-0 game. Troy Gloss on deck. And he is behind 0-1 in the count.
Pitchers pitched Albert Pujols the way Muhammad Ali used to use that rope-a-dope. Remember, he'd kind of go in the corner and not throw any punches. And he'd try to frustrate his opponent into the big swing. That's what the Astros pitchers are doing. Most pitchers in the National League are doing. He's kind of throwing it out of the zone. He's getting frustrated every time he walks. See if he's willing to chase one.
0-2, and why not? If you can get Ludwig out. Gloss on deck. 2 walks in this game. Pujols has 27 walks. This is the 26th Cardinal game. To right center field. Backhanded by Hunter Pence. 1-run home. Now here's Pujols. Matsui with a throw to Toles, and he's safe. The Cardinals lead it with Ankiel and Pujols scoring on a 2-run double by Ludwig. Matsui's throw might have given the Astros a chance. It came in on 1 bounce though to Toles. Double number 6 for Ludwig.
And that's the jeopardy in walking Pujols. Anytime you put a man on base, got an opportunity to score. And I'm not saying it's not the prudent strategy at times, but it's the risk-reward game that you play. But the big mistake there, just the 0-2 fastball right down Broadway.
Now Troy Gloss looks at ball 1. Gloss is 0 for 2. That's Ludwig's second 2-run double of the year against the Astros. Both have been in key situations. As of a couple of days ago, the Cardinals' number 4 spot in the order. All the hitters who had hit 4th combined for a .345 slugging percentage, 29th in the major leagues. Michael Bourne in center field, way back in center field. That's gone. A 2-run homer for Gloss, ending the long home run drought. The Cardinals lead it 4-1 as Gloss hits his first as a Redbird. That gives him 17 runs batted in.
It must be a day game. The eyes are working for Troy Gloss. And the man who was booed the other day just got a curtain call.
He had gone 27 games since his last home run, dating back to last year. And Aaron Miles at the plate with strike 1 now. The appeal goes to third. There's a swing called by the third base umpire, Tim Cheetah. First home run for the Redbirds in their last 8 games.
On the fastball to Ludwig and then to Gloss, both right there. Talked in the scouting report how Brandon had to be on the edges with his fastball.
There is some stirring in the Astros bullpen. Bourne, Tejada, and Berkman due up in the 6th inning. Back, he's thrown 79 pitches. Strike call. Miles caught looking. 2 outs. Strikeout number 4 for Backey. 80 pitches now, and he faces Molina. Molina's line to left, and he's walked. Strike to Molina. Pitcher Kyle Loesch on deck. Now it's Oscar Villarreal warming up. He hasn't seen much action in several days. Brian Moeller hasn't been pitching much. Dave Borkowski came in yesterday and walked the leadoff man in the bottom of the 9th inning. He hadn't pitched in about 4 days. Jim Joyce said he called timeout. Backey
had some words for Molina.
Yeah.
Brandon's a little worked up right now, and Lance going to come in and try to calm him down. We're good. All right. Get a little emotional out there when you get knocked around a little bit. I know that feeling. You get a little angry. I know that feeling all too well.
And now Molina is headed for the mound. And both benches empty. And they're racing in from both bullpens as well. Headed in with dispatch.
But Brandon said, you know, because it came after the words that they had, Molina reacted the way he did. Had they not had any conversation prior to it, probably would not have done anything.
Tony La Russa is with Molina.
And see, remember the conversation we had earlier about Channing?
Can't tell.
Yachty, maybe.
Maybe.
And the conversation we had about you know, Gibson and knocking people down and hitting people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing how quick hitters are to react to anything close to them now, and all the drama that comes out of it. I mean, to me, it's just absurd.
It is absurd because that pitch was not really that close to threatening him. He had plenty of time to get out of the way.
See, to me, you could justifiably just toss Molina there. I understand he's upset because Brandon kind of popped off at him prior to the pitch, so that kind of fuels his reaction a little bit.
It'll take a while for the relievers to get back to the 2 bullpens. That might be good. They're going back a lot slower than they came out, and you see Molina, and he still is not ready to get himself in a frame of mind.
And Joyce is going to tell him that. Joyce is going to tell him you either cool it or you're going to have the rest of the day off.
That would be a good idea, giving him the rest of the day off. And another good idea to dust off home plate, buy a little more time. The count is 1-1. And ground ball back to Backey. And in the 5th inning, the Cardinals take the lead with 4 runs on 2 hits. It's 4-1 Redbirds after 5. And Gloss hit the 2-run homer. Albert Pujols very happy at that on the Cardinal bench. Houston Astros baseball on My 20 is being brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers, by Dodge, your Texas truck stop, and by Southwest Airlines. Brendan Backey got that final out after giving up 4 runs, and now is in the dugout. Yadier Molina made the final out by grounding back to the Houston pitcher. Now the Cardinals lead at 4-1. And it's time to cool down a little bit. And as you can see, Brendan is very upset at those developments in the 5th inning. Schumacher lined out. And Matsui made a heck of a catch. Then 2 walks, 2-run double, and a 2-run homer. Now Loesch and his catcher Molina seems to be telling Loesch settle down. Well, maybe Loesch should be returning those comments because Molina seemed to be the most upset player on the field. Michael Bourne leads it off in the Houston 6th inning. Bourne is 0 for 2. That's ball 1. Ball has popped up twice, showing signs of rust. He struck out 3 times yesterday, going 0 for 4, and popped up. And after a few days off, he had said before the game yesterday he was going to try not to be too overamped because of the inactivity of the previous few days. 2 balls, 1 strike. So perhaps a good idea to put him in the number 2 spot for this game behind Matsui, who had been hitting so well. Miles flips to Pujols. That's 1 out. And the Astros really haven't managed much of a threat since they got their 2-out run home in the 2nd inning.
Moving a struggling hitter into the 2-hole is not a bad idea, especially if you got a guy ahead of him who's going to get on base, and that would allow you could be productive just bunting him over or playing hit and run. You put a hit and run sign on with a struggling hitter sometimes just to eliminate all the thought process. You've got to swing. You've got to put this ball in play so you're not up there guessing. Problem is Kaz hasn't gone on in front of him.
Right. Tejada's 1 for 2. First pitch curve works for strike 1 to Tejada. Nationals 2, Cubs nothing in the bottom of the 8th at Washington. John Lannon worked 7 sparkling innings. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Pitched a dandy last time out too, I believe.
I think you're right. Ted Lilly with an acceptable start for the Cubs. 6 innings, 2 earned runs. That's better than what he's been doing so far. Cubs are 16-8 so far this year. 1 ball, 2 strikes. You talk about these rivalries and things that can ensue, such as what we've just been witnessing here the last few minutes. And Cubs and Cardinals have been the big rivalry in the Midwest for years. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I was talking with Darren Erstad, asking him when he was with the Angels who were their big rivals. He said, well, all the clubs in the AL West, because there were only 4 and we played each other all the time, we would always get into things with them. That's very common. With this familiarity to breed contempt. 2 hopper goes to Gloss. 2 outs. The pitch to Molina was up and in, and it set Molina off.
Well, and it was because it came on the heels of Brandon kind of chirping at Molina earlier. And if Brandon had not called Molina out, because Brandon thought Molina called timeout while he was in his delivery, and he yelled in something into Molina, probably something along the lines of, hey, get in there and hit, or something like that. Brandon was frustrated at the time, so he popped off at Molina. And then with the up and in pitch after that, you can understand why Molina thought that there was some evil intent there.
Ball 1 to Lance Berkman.
I think Lance said it best in the morning paper today. Say you put a few bulls in the same pen, there's going to be fights.
Yes, he did.
This is important stuff to these guys. This is their livelihood.
1 ball, 1 strike. He reached on an infield hit and scored the Astros run in the 2nd, and he grounded out. It's 1-2, but Loesch has not been disturbed since that 2nd inning Houston run.
Watching him pitch, it's hard to believe he stayed on the free agent market as long as he did.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Loesch trying for win number 3. If he gets it, he would be 3-0 out of the gate. And his ERA at game time, 2.54, has come down so far. He's given up 4 singles. Astros had 5 hits yesterday, but 3 were homers. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Their offense has cooled, but it would have to after the torrid pace they had set offensively during their 6-game winning streak. Strike 3. That's a quick 6th inning. And the Astros haven't had a hit since the 3rd. Cardinals lead at 4-1. All Our Texas Ford Dealers League leaders show you the Astros all-time leaders in single-season games played at shortstop. Rafael Ramirez in '88 and Dickie Thon in '83 both played 154 games. Roger Metzger had a 153-game season at shortstop in '72. Adam Everett played 150, as did Metzger in '76 and Sonny Jackson in 1966. And Miguel Tejada doesn't like many days off, so he may be at the top of the list if things go well for him this year. Meanwhile, Oscar Villarreal is getting some instructions from Jim Joyce as he comes into this game for the bottom of the 6th inning with an 0-3 record.
Yeah, home run ball has been a big problem for Oscar. In 14 innings, he's allowed 6 home runs. Scoreless inning last time out, that was on the homestand against the Padres, so it's been a while since he's been out there.
Now that was Monday night. Adam Kennedy's a pinch hitter now for Loesch, and he fouls it back, strike 1. So Loesch, kind of surprising. We didn't see a pitch count on him, JD. Maybe you did, but that he's coming out of this game. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run allowed by Loesch. He walked 1 and fanned 3.
102 pitches, and maybe just a need to get some work for that bullpen too.
That could be it. Kennedy looks at that one. The count going to 1 ball, 1 strike. Kennedy was 1 for 4 in yesterday's game, a double as the second baseman, and had an RBI, going 1 for 4 Friday night. 1 ball, 2 strikes. When Villarreal pitched that scoreless inning on Monday night against the Padres, that snapped a streak of 4 consecutive games with runs allowed.
Well, Doug Brocail has been solid. He had that 1 rough one against the Padres, but for the most part he's been very good. Valverde looks like he's turned a corner, but Cecil Cooper looking for a couple more arms to kind of step up in that bullpen.
Tap to shortstop. Tejada to Berkman. Kennedy retired, 1 out.
Jeff Geary's been throwing the ball pretty well. He's got a little more fastball than I realized too.
Yeah. Brandon Backey had a rough day. 5 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs, 5 walks, 4 strikeouts.
It's like he's going to go hit a heavy bag or something.
Yeah.
He needs to work out some frustration and some anger. It's, you know, a guy like Backey who loves to compete the way he does. I'm frustrated about getting knocked around there in the 5th, and then the incident with Molina, but just, you know, half a day's work in his opinion, having to leave this game early.
Brendan Ryan's 1 for 2. Showing bunt, and it's ball 1. Villarreal, former Arizona Diamondback, came up with that club and set a rookie record for appearances in one season. This is his 14th career appearance against the Redbirds. Pitched well against them. 1 ball, 1 strike. Schumacher's on deck. Line to center. Michael Bourne backing. 2 down. And Schumacher comes up 0 for 3, but really made a strong bid for a hit in the 5th inning. Kazuo Matsui robbed him. The leaping catch at second base.
Happy to report that Kerwin Danley is out of the hospital. Folks saw the replay from the game yesterday. He got drilled in the jaw by a Brad Penny 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Danley, the home plate umpire, left that game on a stretcher, was unconscious briefly.
Strike call to Schumacher. Yeah, that was ugly. That Cubs-Washington game has gone final. 2-0 Washington beating the Cubs. Tejada to his left. In the 6th inning, Villarreal makes quick work of the Redbirds. 4-1 St. Louis after 6.
Cardinals lead the Astros 4-1. Getting late here as we move to the top of the 7th. Here's one you won't want to miss tomorrow at 7 on My 20. Celebrity Expose takes a peek inside the life of Beyonce. That should hold particular interest for fans in Houston.
Yeah.
To the left, to the left.
Kyle McClellan comes in to do the pitching. 4-1. The Cardinals lead the Astros. He was met at the mound by Jim Joyce and given his set of instructions. He's 0-1 with a 2.31 ERA. That loss came at Houston in the Astros home opener.
Jim Joyce kind of like a fight referee meeting with all the combatants. Okay, here's the deal. No low blows. No fastballs near the chin. Keep it clean.
Strike one to Carlos Lee. He's 0 for 2. The Astros offense has mustered 4 singles and drawn 1 walk through 6 innings. McClellan held on to that one a moment too long, and it's 1 ball 1 strike. McClellan's been a very pleasant surprise for the Redbirds folks. Hard thrower from this area, Florissant, Missouri, a suburb of St. Louis. 1 and 2. Last year he was at A-ball for part of the season at Palm Beach County, and then at AA Springfield for 24 games. Made the big leap to the big leagues. 2 balls 2 strikes. He had Tommy John surgery in 2005, and then more elbow surgery in 2006. He was a 25th round pick in 02. Line to left field. Schumacher. 1 out. Kyle Loesch, 6 innings, gave up 4 hits, 1 run, walking 1, fanning 3. His ERA got a little bit lower. Hunter Pence the batter. Our Firestone in-game box score will show you the Astros hitters in this game. Hunter is grounded to third and walked. Getting a lot breezier
I was just going to say, the breeze is freshening here. There's a little coolness, a little moisture in the air, maybe.
Yes.
Maybe that rain you were talking about might be starting to work its way into town.
A change is coming, JD. You can feel it in the air. 1-1. Paul Mahalem twirled a 2-hitter for Pittsburgh and blanked the Phillies 5-1 today. Nate McLouth hit 2 homers. Brendan Ryan, 2 outs. And it'll be Mark Loretta. Loretta has the only RBI for the Astros. That came on a 2nd inning 2-out single. He lined into a double play in the 4th, so 2 good at bats from Mark so far today. He's a .301 lifetime hitter against the Redbirds. Astros have scored just about half their runs this season with 2 outs in the inning. Strike to Loretta with J.R. Tolles on deck. Brett Myers was the loser for the Phillies, and the Pirates swept that 3-game series, or avoided a 3-game sweep. Cardinal bullpen has a 3-6 record, a 3.95 ERA. And it's foul. It's no balls 2 strikes. Brandon Webb is pitching today for Arizona, so the Astros will miss him. They'll catch Dan Herron tomorrow night. Chris Sampson opposing him. Tuesday night, Jack Castle's mound opponent will be Edgar Gonzalez, and Randy Johnson opposes Sean Chacon on Wednesday afternoon. Strike 3. McClellan keeps the outs rolling for the Redbirds pitching staff. That's 11 in a row set down by Redbirds hurlers. They lead it 4-1. And for more on the Astros, here's the Toyota Truck Game Break with Kevin Eschenfelder in the studio. It's 4-1. Cardinal fans are enjoying the day. There's a Texans fan as well. How are they faring in the draft, JD? Any idea?
I saw the name of the guy they drafted.
Offensive tackle, wasn't it?
Dwayne something or something. Okay. Dwayne.
Brian Moeller got his instructions from Jim Joyce. So every pitcher who has come into the game has been met by Jim Joyce at the mound and has been told you'd better not be drilling people. or you're probably gone.
And Brian would have a legitimate excuse if one were to get away from him. He hasn't been out there in a while, but we saw last year that he's very capable, pitching effectively after long periods of inactivity. 4 ball games so far this year. Last worked back on the 18th against Colorado. Allowed runs in 3 of his 4 appearances so far this year.
Rick Ankiel has walked twice after a pop up to shortstop. Strike 1. Oscar Villarreal had a 1-2-3 6th inning. No strikeouts. That's his 2nd straight scoreless outing. Showing signs of getting on the kind of track the Astros have seen him stay on for many of the outings in his career. 1 ball, 1 strike. Brian Moeller was working out after the game last night in the hotel workout room. 58 pitches. April 18th against the Rockies. 3 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs. He came in with the Astros trailing 6-0 in the first that day. 1-2. And he is that kind of a workout guy. He just liked the equipment, everything that was available there in the Astros hotel, and preferred working out there over working out at the stadium. So it's been 9 days between appearances for Bryant. That's a long stretch to go. 2 balls, 2 strikes. A&M leading Missouri by 1 in the top of the 8th. Greg Lucas at the microphone for that game over on FSN Houston. Greg's nationwide today. They're also showing that game on FSN Midwest. 3 balls and 2 strikes for Brian Moeller. Albert Pujols is on deck. Matsui, good play to his left, and the throw to Berkman, scooped up in time. Magnificent. 1 out.
Well, it sure has been fun watching Matsui play second base. He's made a number of acrobatic plays, moving to his right and his left. Some of the double plays he's turned have been very impressive. This time he lays out. Gets a little help from Lance on the other end. Pretty play.
Watch the throw. Falling away on one leg. Couldn't get much on it, but Lance scooped it. Now Pujols hits a rocket. Michael Bourne back in center field. Pujols with number 5 of the year. And it's 5-1 St. Louis. 20 runs batted in for Albert Pujols. That's his 3rd home run this season against the Astros and the 31st of his career.
Generally a patient hitter, but on occasion will jump on that first pitch, and he got one to his liking. Brian just trying to get the jump on him.
Pujols makes it a 4-run lead. He's been on base in every Cardinal game this year. Strike 1 to Ryan Ludwig. Off the end of the bat, Michael Bourne waiting in center. 2 down, and the Cardinals, who had not homered in 8 previous games, have gotten 2 long balls today. Troy Gloss in the 5th, a 2-run shot, and Pujols here. Gloss turned this crowd around with that home run in the 5th inning. He's 1 for 3. Pujols has been on base 3 times today.
Albert now 6 out of 9 with 3 home runs off Brian Moeller.
Well, Cecil Cooper was talking about the fact that Moeller needed to pitch and some of the other guys in the bullpen. Strike to Gloss, and it turns into that kind of a day. Try to get some guys into a game when you're trailing, going to the late innings.
Yeah, there are days when that's easy to do because it's a lopsided game, so you just run people out there to get some work. This is a little bit of a different animal. 4-1 coming into this inning. Still a winnable game for the Astros, but if you're going to get anything out of these guys, you got to use them.
1-2. Gloss with that sweeping swing. Powered one out last time to center field. Aaron Miles is on deck. On the breaking pitch, Gloss strikes out. In the 7th inning, Pujols rocks one. And the Cardinals hitters are showing they flex their muscles with home runs to center field. Pujols and Gloss to make it 5-1, 2-7. It's 5-1. St. Louis has ridden a pair of home runs and a big inning to this 4-run lead. The Astros will be making some moves here as they come up in the 8th inning. J.R. Tolles leads it off. There's strike one for Kyle McClellan, who had a 1-2-3-7. Tolles is 0 for 2. Darren Erstad is on deck to pinch hit for Brian Moeller. Dave Borkowski in the Houston bullpen. That fly ball heads for left center field. Skips Schumacher. One down. The Astros have not had a hit since 2 outs in the 3rd.
Get all your team gear at the official online shop at Astros.com. Check out the largest online selection of official caps, t-shirts, jerseys, collectibles, and more. Shop 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get your gear straight from the source, the Astros.com shop.
Darren Erstad got 2 hits Friday night and is 2 for 5 in this series. He's 6 for 14 on the road trip, getting a chance to play because of the injury to Michael Bourne. Cracked bad roller to shortstop. Brendan Ryan. That's 5 straight for McClellan. Astros pinch hitters 2 for 32 this season. Kazuo Matsui is 0 for 3, as is Michael Bourne. So the Astros have not been able to place either of their top 2 hitters on base in this game.
A lot of offers in the Astros lineup this afternoon. Talk about hitting being contagious. I guess works the other way as well.
Yeah. Now hitters do seem to feed off each other. Gloss coming in at 3rd. There's strike one. White Sox lead the Orioles 4-1 in the bottom of the 7th at U.S. Cellular. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jose Contreras started that game, went 6 2/3. One and 2. Paul Konerko has hit 2 homers to give him 5. Brian Roberts connected for his 3rd for the Orioles. There's Dave Borkowski, who pitched yesterday. Breaking ball, Matsui caught looking, and that is a very impressive 2-inning stint in perfect fashion for McClellan. 5-1 Cardinals in the 8th.
Cardinals to bat in the bottom half of the 8th. They lead the Astros 5-1. Don't miss Flavor Flav's new show as he goes looking for laughs. It's an all-new Under One Roof. It's Wednesday at 7 on My 20.
There's a view toward downtown St. Louis. Ballpark Village apparently is on hold. That was to be a high-rise built just outside left center field wall. Dave Borkowski got the loss yesterday, losing in the bottom of the 9th. He's 0-1.
And leadoff walk was his undoing. 6 strikeouts, 6 walks, and 9 2/3. Dave usually a little more reliable in terms of control than that.
And Miles with 2 singles in this game fouls at strike 1.
But that outing for him yesterday was the first one in almost a week.
Came in with the score tied 3-3 in the 9th inning. And he issued a 4-pitch walk to Barton, the pinch hitter, Brian Barton. 1 ball and 1 strike. Then pitcher Wainwright bunted into a force play. Ryan singled and Schumacher got the game-winning single to left field. Michael Bourne back into left center. 1 out in the home 8th inning. Arizona and San Diego are underway at Petco Park. It's 2-0 Arizona in the top of the second inning with 5-game winner Brandon Webb pitching. And Chris Snyder of the University of Houston has hit his first home run of the season.
It's Peavy for the Padres, I believe.
Yes, you're right. Yadier Molina 0 for 2 with a walk. Last 2 Cy Young Award winners hooking up in a dandy at Petco. And the Astros are going into the Hornets' nest, taking on the team with the best record in Major League Baseball, Arizona 17-7. 2 balls, no strikes, or maybe into the snake's den. Toronto 3, Kansas City 2. They're in the last of the 8th at Kansas City. Strike there makes it 2 balls, 1 strike. 44,222 the paid attendance on this Sunday afternoon at Busch Stadium. Getting chillier as that breeze comes through. Broken bat pop up, and that will be a hit. Molina now has a 4-game hitting streak. That bat won't make it to the next part of the streak.
Hope it wasn't his lucky bat.
Pitcher Kyle McClellan apparently is going to get a chance at a 3-inning save in this one. He stays in to bat. Went down to talk to his third base coach. He bunts out toward Borkowski. Throwing to Matsui. Sacrifice, 2 outs. Well, McClellan hasn't needed very many pitches to retire 6 in a row. Now Toll's out. Ryan's the batter. Ryan 1 for 3 in this game. Borkowski came in, and as every pitcher has been doing, he was met at the mound by home plate umpire Jim Joyce. Warnings issued after the flare-up with Molina and Backey. Cincinnati got 6 in the top of the first at San Francisco. Now the Giants are batting in the bottom half, trailing 6-0. Fouled, and it's strike 1 to Ryan.
Matt Morris was released by the Pittsburgh Pirates today. Pirates on the hook for $10 million.
Ouch.
And a $1 million buyout for 2009. It's about 1/5 of their payroll.
Liner, Hunter Pence in right center. Snags out number 3. No runs, a hit, a man stranded, moving to the 9th. 5-1 St. Louis. Strike 1 has just been thrown by Kyle McClellan. Michael Bourne took it. Now it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Bourne 0 for 3 as he leads off the Astros 9th inning. The Astros trailing 5-1. They've been out hit 7-4. Bourne sends Troy Gloss digging toward foul ground with his pop-up. Gloss can't get there. And it's 1-2 for Kyle McClellan, who will get a save if he gets the final 3 outs of this game. The Cardinals hang on to their lead.
It's an old school 3-inning save.
It is. He came in with a 4-1 lead in the 7th.
Tough break, Michael. Good swing, though. Something to build on. Right on the button. From whack to leather was pretty quick. Boom. Boom. Barely had to move his glove.
That looked easy.
Good scouting report. Had him played perfectly.
Miguel Tejada hit the ball deep to left field in the first inning. That was caught by Schumacher at the wall. He singled to right and he grounded to third. That 6-run Reds first was at the expense of Barry Zito in San Francisco.
Oh, man.
Now they're at it again. Now it's 7-0 in the second. Zito's given up all of those runs. 2 balls, no strikes. Meanwhile, Edinson Volquez has been staked to that big lead. And there weren't any homers in the inning.
Zito at risk of becoming one of just a handful of pitchers in history to go 0-6 in April.
Really?
Yeah, I saw that note somewhere today.
Broken bat roller. The bat went flying over the Astros dugout. Ed Romero got the baseball. He's going to toss it up to a kid. And over there they got part of the bat. They left early.
Yeah, good timing. Whoever bailed out of those seats. Prudent decision.
2 balls, 2 strikes. It's Colorado nothing, the Dodgers nothing in LA. Top of the second inning. Tejada gets underneath it. Schumacher calls. Ankiel is there. Center fielder gets it. 2 down. The Astros have been very quiet. 2 singles and a run in the second. 2 singles in the third. A walk in the fourth, followed by a line drive double play. No base runners since then. 15 straight Astros have been set down. Lance Berkman is 1 for 3. Strike. McClellan trying for his first major league save. If the Cardinals win, their record against the Astros this season is 4-2. One ball, 1 strike. They'll meet again here in St. Louis May 27th, 28th, and 29th. Cardinals will be in Houston June 6th, 7th, and 8th, and August 29th, 30th, and 31st. 1-2 the count.
I'm sure if Lance was talking to Jim Joyce or himself after that one. I'm guessing it's something that, man, that ball was right there for me. Just missed it.
Fly ball center and deep. Ankiel racing way back into center field, and he makes the grab for the final out. 16 straight set down by Loesch and McClellan, and a combined 4-hitter. The Cardinals take 2 of 3. The Astros 3-2 on the road trip heading to Arizona. Final score: St. Louis 5, Houston 1. Houston Astros baseball on May 20 has been brought to you by Southwest Airlines, by your Texas Ford dealers, by your Houston area Lexus dealers, by GMC Truck, and by Bud Light. Final score here at Busch Stadium was 5-1. The Cardinals winning over the Astros. Kyle Loesch goes to 3-0. Kyle McClellan gets his first major league save, and it's the first 3-inning save by a Cardinal since Brad Thompson in 05. Brandon Backey, the loser, sinks to 1-3, and the Astros tie their low in hits for a game. They had 4 hits on opening night in San Diego when they were shut out by Jake Peavy and the Padres, and they just couldn't get anything going at all after that 1-out walk in the 4th inning. JD.
Yeah, and really had no opportunities. I guess the good news for the Astros, they won't look back at this one and go, gee, if we'd only gotten that run in and we blew this opportunity. There were no opportunities because of Loesch and McClellan. And once the Redbirds put that 4 spot on the board in the 5th, it was pretty much game over.
And final 16 Astros win down. We'll be back in just a moment after this Cardinals 5-1 win to look ahead for the Astros. Five to 1, St. Louis beats Houston. The Cardinals win 2 of 3 in this series. It's the first game of the 6 between these two that's been decided by more than 2 runs. So the Redbirds got the outstanding pitching today. They appear to be a little fired up. People are going to say that after there's been a little incident and then a couple guys hit home runs after that, JD.
Yeah, I don't know if that had much to do with it. The guys that hit the home runs have pretty good track records of being able to do that, although Troy Glaus hadn't gotten deep yet this year. He got his first one. And we saw the celebration in the Cardinals dugout. They were so fired up for their teammate who's been scuffling that Albert Pujols added on later. But the dynamics of this series is interesting with the dust up yesterday, then again today. So it'll be really fun to watch these games moving forward.
Very much so. Now looking ahead to Arizona, the Astros take on the team with the best record in the major leagues right now. Talented, athletic players at almost every position on the field.
Yeah, not only the best record, but really, really good in their own ballpark, hitting better than 300 at home. They're 9-2 at their ballpark. This foursome right here really getting off to a great start. All 25 years of age or younger. They have speed, they have power, a very dynamic young lineup. So it should be interesting. And, you know, they can pitch a little bit too. We get Danny Herron tomorrow, so it's not going to get any easier.
Yeah, strong starting rotation, excellent bullpen. That lies ahead for the Astros, who are headed for Phoenix next. 5-1 the final here, St. Louis beating Houston. Our next Astros telecast comes your way tomorrow night on FSN Houston. It's the first of 3 for the Astros against Arizona, and coverage begins with Astros Live at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. We'll see you then. Once again, our final score today was the Cardinals 5 and the Astros 1.